Well, this is Complete Athlete Podcast where you get you to your next level in your sport and in life. That sport being baseball. We're talking to Nick Binnebose today. How we doing, Nick?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pumped, man. Super excited to have you on here. Yeah, it's been a little while since we've seen you, Nick, but you know how we kind of do these podcasts, especially for a player like you who just committed, is just learning a little bit about yourself, kind of your baseball career so far. Obviously, there's going to be many more years ahead since you're playing college ball. Congrats, man. I'm super pumped for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your baseball journey, like growing up, some of the teams you played on when you were younger. I'm talking Little League ball, if you ever played T-ball, like into traveling years. Just tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, I mean, everything started in Wisconsin, Fond du Lac.
Fond du Lac.
I played a lot of T-ball.
Did you ever play against, so my family, my dad is from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, I think there's Waupun and...
Yeah, Waupun.
Waupun. See, I said it wrong,
yeah.
But I just remember some of those different names, so, yeah.
Yeah, my brother's mom actually lives in Waupun, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Funny, I'd go to my actually, he's a year or two older than you, but my nephew's games and whatnot, and I remember when he was like 6 or 7, he was playing Waupun, and he was Beaver Dam versus Waupun or whatever, but funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, my mom wanted to get her PhD, and so she ended up, we all ended up going to Ames, Iowa.
Okay.
So.
How old were you when this happened?
I was about 7.
Okay.
About 7, so I played for the local Little League team. They're called the Hawks, the Red Hawks.
Okay.
And so I lived in Slater, so the main field that we used, it was there. So I literally biked to the field every time for practices, games. It was so fun. And then it shut down because we couldn't get enough kids to come out. And so that's when I started travel ball.
Yeah.
And so I played with the Bombers, the Ballard Bombers, but they were a little bit separate.
And this was over in Iowa?
Yep, Ames, Iowa. And so, Jaron Noss. Jaron Noss was a teammate of mine. He was a pitcher/catcher, and his dad was our Little League coach. And so he ended up coaching our travel ball team. And so he really got me into the sport mostly. You always have that one coach that, inspires you to keep going and everything. And Jaron's dad really did that for me. I always thought I was, too small or not good enough to play for travel ball teams, so I stayed on that travel ball team all the way up until 7th grade.
Okay.
And then I started school ball. And
how early did you start? 8 years old?
Yeah,
for travel ball?
Oh, yeah,
8 or 9?
ball. Yeah, 8 or 9.
Okay. And then until you were 13 or so for that Ballard Bombers team?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, I played a year for Ballard, which is in Ames, Iowa. They're in Huxley.
Okay.
And so I played a year there, and then we ended up leaving because my mom got a job in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And so...
how far is Cedar Rapids from Ames?
I'd say about 45 minutes.
Okay.
45, maybe 50 at the most. And so, that whole process was super weird. First time I was over there, I was supposed to be there for a Reds tryout, and they were like this big team. And
I remember your dad telling me the story a while ago.
Yeah, I chickened out of it. It was just like, I'm not good enough to go and play with these guys. So I played for the high school's local travel ball team, the Prairie Hawks, and so I was on their top team.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't really play because I ended up having my knee surgeries that year. So I maybe played 5 or 6 games, and then knee surgery, and then...
this was all as a freshman or sophomore? Or
I think it was...
junior?
No, it was 8th grade year.
8th grade year?
Yeah, 8th grade
Really?
year.
Some
yeah.
knee surgeries at 8th grade. That's got to be some adversity you had to fight through.
Oh, yeah. I quit football, of course, because that was the main cause of the injury. So,
yeah. Like non-contact or contact, like guys coming to your knees?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they teach the tackle these days. So.
Yeah, I was a little upset, but I ended up coming back last couple games, and that was the state run. And so I pitched for state and then had like a game in the outfield. And I remember the best part about it was I was hitting. And so I hit a ball. It was a right center, just fly. And so it got over a right fielder. and all I could hear in the stands was, "Don't you run, boy, don't you run." And I started running towards second, and all the moms stood up, and they're just like, "Don't run, Nick, do not run." And I was just like, oh, boy.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Just because they thought you were going to get thrown out?
No, it was
The knee?
The knee, and so,
Oh, okay.
it was a couple weeks after I got cleared and everything, and so had not done any physical therapy. I was just walking around on it, and so
Yeah.
my nickname for the team was Mr. Hobbles because I had a little hobble when I walked, and so
I never knew this story.
Yeah.
You never told. I knew you had injuries. I didn't know that
Yeah.
it was like that.
and my friends in Cedar Rapids, I go and visit them every once in a while because these guys are closest people.
Yeah,
I
your
have,
brothers,
you know.
man.
And
Yeah.
so they still call me Mr. Hobbles, or Hobbles. So
Oh, funny.
it's definitely it was definitely one of the better experiences for travel ball because that was the last year I played travel ball up until this year.
Yeah.
Um, freshman year and sophomore year didn't have a travel ball team. Cedar Rapids ball, 40 games. Well, technically since freshman year was COVID year, so only 9 games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody
COVID.
got gypped that year.
Yeah, COVID year was so annoying. You know, contact stuff. We had guys sitting out for a couple games because
Oh,
they
yeah,
came in
yeah.
contact, and then
Did they make you wear masks on the field down in Iowa?
yes, they did.
Yeah.
But I never. I didn't wear like the regular mask. I wear the pull-ups, like the handkerchiefs and
Oh,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was not wearing a mask on the field. I
Yeah.
would just keep it like right here so I could actually breathe.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I thought it was just hilarious, like kids running around in a basketball gym with masks on.
Yeah,
you
feel
can't
like,
breathe, man.
Yeah, you're gonna pass out from it, and Iowa heat gets up there, so
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very flat down there, so everything like reflects off the ground and everything.
yeah. I mean, Iowa's. I love Iowa, but it is very flat. You could see someone from a mile away waving at you or something like that. So
Yup.
no, and I mean freshman year, 9 games.
Yeah.
I hit 412, but that's,
412 in 9
yeah,
games.
9
Sweet.
games, yeah, sweet.
What'd you get, like 3 or 4 at bats a game? Not even, if that.
Not even. I think I got maybe 2.
Yeah.
Still struck out a lot. Definitely struck out a lot. Then sophomore year hit, and it was definitely an experience. Coaching was, I wasn't used to the coaching that they had. They were very professional for a high school team, especially a sophomore.
Well, wasn't
sophomore.
Prairie? Is it Prairie or Sun Prairie?
It's Prairie.
Prairie. Okay,
Yeah.
I've heard of a Sun Prairie school before. That might be in Wisconsin though. But yeah, you told me it was a bigger high school, right?
It was a very big high school from Ballard. I mean, for football teams, maybe like 40 or 50 guys would try out for a football team. And
Yeah.
So, baseball, it was a little different. Not everyone likes to play baseball.
Yeah.
But we still had a pretty big team.
Yup.
And so the whole sophomore year is just a battle of getting a position and staying in that position. I'd play a couple games and then I wouldn't start, and then I'd play a couple more games and I wouldn't start. And going into that sophomore season, I was throwing pretty hard for a sophomore, and I was the number 1 guy in the rotation. First game, just completely whiffed, lost us the game, everything. I hit a kid to walk in the winning run, and so from then on, I was just like, God, just pitching, and it really was demoralizing that first game, and so. Throughout the year, I worked in through right field, left field, never center field because they had a really good center fielder, Kate Canuck. He's committed to Kirkwood, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we had Maddox Freeze, but he didn't play down with us, and Cal Sullivan, he didn't play down with us. These guys were JV guys as freshmen and sophomores. They were such good players, still very good players. They're all going in the same school, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where Maddox is going, though.
Yeah, so you're a sophomore then.
Yeah,
and
sophomore.
So, that sophomore year, you just kind of told me a little bit about it, and then into that summer, didn't another move happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it sounds like you were moving around a few times.
Yeah, I've moved around a little bit.
Yeah.
But the movie never failed to destroy my baseball passion. It just never did. I never was just like, maybe I should play baseball because I'm afraid of moving. No, I'm gonna get back out in the baseball field.
Absolutely.
So
it's in your blood.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like it's in your family's blood too.
Yeah.
And we can get into that more too from what you've told me in the past.
Yeah. But no, the move was just out of nowhere, to be honest. My mom was just like, they're moving us up to Minnesota. So we had like 2 months. We packed up and moved up to Minnesota. And so finding a school around the area was hard. We had St. Michael, Buffalo, and then we have Rockford, the school I go to now. And what really did it for Rockford was, small town feel. Everyone supports everyone, very good community. And so, meeting the kids on the team was a big experience. They were all very welcoming.
That's great. That's good to hear.
And then
it's good culture.
Very good culture. And that was junior year. It was the first year I played varsity, and it was definitely a wake up moment. I was just like, this is not really what I was compared to. Comparing sophomore year to that, the pressure and everything of playing in front of your peers who go to the same classes as you, it was scary for a little bit. And then a couple games in, I kind of got used to it.
Kind of found your feel a little bit. I remember you finally told us, you're like, yeah, I hit a few bombs.
Yeah. I did do well for the first part of the season, and then I went into a pretty bad slump.
Yeah.
When it mattered most too is playoffs, and I went from hitting about 2-hole and then dropped down to 9, and it was really demoralizing.
How do you feel like thinking about that now? Like, how are you preparing yourself for your senior season? Have you gone through that mental playbook of how you're gonna come up clutch in those situations?
Yeah, I kind of I look back at it now, and I was just like, I shouldn't even be complaining about this. I hit 300, so I was just like, why am I mad about this? And so.
And also, a lot of those outs you told me were hard outs.
Line drives and all that. And, but I was still upset with myself. I'm like, I should have done better.
Yeah, and you always want to constantly improve.
Yeah. And so during the summer, I worked on everything. Outside pitching, of course. Training with you guys, I always was struggling with the outside pitches.
In the winter, yeah, you were training with Coach Sam Crick, and
yeah, he was always preaching right center gap, and so during the summer I really tried to improve on that, and I played for Millers, pitch to pitch Millers.
Yeah.
And I played for their second team, and that travel ball experience was so crazy. I mean, we went down to Georgia, we went to Kansas, Nebraska. It was so fun traveling. I mean, with the Bombers, I never traveled outside the state.
Yeah,
never did.
It was all in Iowa.
All in Iowa.
Yeah.
Small town travel ball. But this was a different experience. Went down to Georgia.
Did you face some pretty big competition?
Yeah, we.
Were you guys playing in the majors division or AAA, or was it just all one division?
It was all in one division. It was like 700 teams or something like that. And
wow.
I remember it was our third game, and we went against USA Prime.
Oh, Prime, yeah. I've heard about them.
Oh, I think every pitcher they threw was throwing about 90, and it was just like, oh, ball. I swung. Oh, he's already got the ball. Yeah.
Hey, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, and then my first ever experience with a really good college hitter was our second game, and we went against a Kentucky commit.
Yeah.
This kid was crazy.
What do you mean? You could just hit whatever you were throwing at him?
Yeah, so I'm sitting in center field, and I'm like, this kid's coming up. I know he's a Kentucky commit. He's 6'5", 230. Absolute monster.
Yeah.
And our pitcher, he was our ace for that tournament. First pitch took him deep, just without any
hesitation. It
was wood bat too. And
wood bat, and it's still just flying off his bat. Yeah,
dude hit it, and he did a full-on bat flip, and I just, from the sound that I made, I was just like, yeah, that's gone. And so I just watched it go over, and then he proceeded to hit a triple and a couple singles, and we got beat pretty bad.
Yeah,
that was kind of my this is what might be going against in college.
Yeah.
And so for a while, I did pretty bad at Georgia. I definitely was a wake up moment. I was just like, these kids are really good, and I saw D2 talent, D3, NAIA, JUCO. JUCO was crazy down there. There's a lot of JUCO kids.
Oh yeah.
And then D1 guys. think at least every team I played had one D1 commit. And either they were really big schools or they're pretty small schools. Like, I think we had a Niagara commit like go against us. It's
Niagara.
in New York.
Yeah.
He's a pitcher. He's throwing like 89, and that kid, man, he was having a really bad day with our team. You
guys were hitting him around?
No, we were just. He could not find a zone to save his
Oh,
life.
lots of walks. Okay.
Yeah, I think I had four at bats that game, and every at bat I went to 3-2, and he walked me every time.
Every time
Yep,
you just fight. Did you fall some off so he was throwing extra pitches too, and then he just ended up walking you?
2 of the at bats I started 0-2. It just
0-2 and then drew a walk still.
Yeah, I remember he just chucked a ball, and I thought it was gonna hit me, and so I kind of like moved out of the way like a scared little leaguer, and ball, and I was just like, all right, throw my bat, walked to first. I'm like,
yeah.
And then third at bat came. I'm like, okay, this guy isn't throwing anything special, so I just let him pitch to me, and if he didn't pitch good, so I just walked.
Yeah.
And we ended up losing by 1, and then we saw them later in the tournament and lost by 1 again. But they threw a D2 guy, and I think I went 2 for 3 off of him.
Good. Well, that's good, man. It sounds like you had some ups and downs in summer ball, but overall, like, you got to face good competition, see some harder pitching that you're going to see in college. Now it's your senior year, so, like, what are you most looking forward to for this senior year and then beyond? Because you're deciding to pursue college baseball now.
Yep.
And that's, like, a big commitment.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What drives you to do that in the first place?
Well, what drove me the most was I'm not hanging up the cleats yet. I'm not leaving it off at high school. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care where I have to go. I will play college ball. I just felt like, you know what? It's not done yet. I'm not done playing baseball yet. And so that's what really drove me to try to get the offers or try to get in front of coaches. And one of the biggest things that got me in front of coaches was fall ball. Fall ball was a great opportunity to see good competition and then coaching. And that's where I got my first ever, talk with a college coach.
After a game?
Yeah, I contacted it was some JUCO. I don't remember. I think it was in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I think it was in Wisconsin.
Western Tech? No.
I don't know. No, it was lacrosse.
Oh, lacrosse?
No, it wasn't JUCO. It was D3 and
UW lacrosse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't talk to him. My parents did, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna reach out to you and everything." They never did, but
yeah. Is what it is. Lacrosse. They have a really good Northwoods team, the Lacrosse Loggers.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually really solid every summer. So there's a lot of guys that play D1, D2, high level D3 ball or NAI ball that go down there and play, and even people from the South, like Kentucky, Alabama, you name it, will come up and play, like very high level caliber players. So, that might be in your future during summer ball, playing some Northwoods League or Cape Cod or whatever. You get an invitation from that. That'd be cool.
And then, fall ball, we played in the Colonels tournament.
Where's that?
It was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, so I got to go back down to Iowa, and so it was like you're taking it to Jupiter, that it's the biggest college. No, it's the biggest college hotspot. Like, all coaches go down there. You got MLB scouts. It's the biggest
Jupiter,
tournament
Florida?
Yeah. So that was Midwest, like the Midwest teams ticket and getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was an experience. It was so fun, but at the same time, it was kind of scary.
So before these tournaments, like, how are you preparing yourself? Like, it sounds like there was a lot of like nervous, like anxiety in there, but like, how'd you calm yourself down during some clutch situations?
Honestly, so for practice, I knew I was going to be facing higher level pitching, so I just ramped the machine up to like 90, sat in there with a wood bat, kind of watched it go away, and then started hitting off of it for a little bit. I'm like, this will prepare me, and then it was way different than hitting off a machine, of course.
Yeah, exactly. You got to put yourself in that game situation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Game situation compared to hitting in a cage is so much different. Like, you can hit a ball as hard as you can in a cage, but you're not going to take that same swing in a game. I mean, if you do and you do tee something up, congrats to you. You're a good ball player.
100%.
Yeah. No, but
So with all this baseball playing, have you ever had time for a job or anything like that in high school?
yeah, actually during the summer, I had a job for a little bit.
Really? Yeah, it was kind of hard to do
Yeah.
with your summer schedule for
Yeah.
baseball.
I worked at a coffee shop called Caribou.
You worked at Caribou.
Yeah.
Really? You were a barista in training? Yeah.
I worked there for about 3 months, and then it was the end of the summer, and they were just like, "We're gonna have to let you go. You have not been in enough." And I was just like, "All right."
Yeah, you're probably like, "Hey, I have a baseball tournament this weekend. I can't be in." And they're like, "We hired you to work these."
Yeah, and I think their
Yeah,
last
that's
trial
always
was when
the
I went down to Georgia. They were just like, "What?" I'm like, "I gave you guys my schedule, so you guys should have known this."
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's really hard when you're playing high level sports, whatever it's AAU basketball or club baseball or whatever it is. It's really hard to have a part time job.
Yeah.
You know.
And so I was just like, I want a job because,
you want your own money for things.
Yeah,
you don't
I
want to
know.
rely on your parents for everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like most like athletes that are going to college, they don't have time for a job, so they're just
No,
yeah,
and that's why the whole NIL stuff came out,
and
and
that was something super big for me. I was just like, oh wow, so
yeah,
it could be a little bit easier to make money on the side while doing the thing I want.
yeah,
So it's just like, all right, like I mean, right now college football it's probably the most popular, and you see these
100%.
guys like, I'll only sign with your team if give me
Yeah.
like $500,000.
yeah. That stuff, it's very tough. Like Nick Saban's obviously having a tough
Yeah,
issue with
I
it
just heard
it's
about that.
It's hard to build. Like, I watched who was it, Deion Sanders' Prime documentary stuff, and he was talking about that, and like he doesn't hold anything against Saban for saying some words or whatnot, but about the whole thing, it's hard to build a program though.
Yeah.
When you have guys who are like making a ton of money and then they're kind of undermining the coach because they feel like they can do whatever they want. Like I know you're not that type of guy from that standpoint, but you respect your coach.
Oh,
100%.
oh yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll have fun with my coaches a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's completely fine.
Yeah, but
especially the younger coaches, like.
Oh yeah, younger coaches are always the best because they're usually the most cultured. They know things, and so it's always fun.
Yeah. Speaking of knowing things, like, are you a big video game guy or not really?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty big video game guy.
What do you play?
Of course I play the sports games. I got Madden, MLB The Show, and then I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption.
I've been hearing that's making a comeback. Me and my buddies used to play that back in high school, and the storylines are good, and you know.
I love it. It's open world and everything. The story is great. What else? I play Rocket League, but only with my friends.
Yeah.
And so it's every couple days, maybe. Actually, right now I haven't played with my friends in like 2 or 3 weeks. Just they're busy with school and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, video games. They're kind of like I just got done with a big tournament or a big game. Just like I'm gonna go home and relax and just play some video games.
Relax and play some video games. Hey, it's good to do, at night sometimes. Staying up late, a little tough, especially if I have a game the next day. We had a guy on one of our fall teams. His mom was out of town, and he just played video games all night.
Yep.
And we're like, dude, come on, man. But,
everyone has had one of those teammates. Play video games all day.
And then your eyes are just red, like, afterwards.
You're just sitting there. You're just like,
there's a fine line with that. One of the guys.
That was me. That was
you?
That teammate.
Yeah.
But I would show up and play. All right, like I would at least perform. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of those guys would fall asleep on the bench.
Oh
Right.
yeah, they're just sitting there, and then they got a monster, just like, gotta wake
uh,
up real quick.
Well, even
Let's
into
go
my
hit real
senior
quick.
year, I was a captain too. So
Right.
like, if as a captain, how do you show up and be like, all right, guys, I'm gonna take a nap on the bench real quick? Just can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Set by example.
Yeah, so
100%.
So even if I showed up with sleepy eyes, I would still play, and I'd still play.
We
well.
had a guy up at Jamestown because they just started esports these days.
Yeah, like the esports.
And
team.
he
I've
had
heard a lot about
so
that.
NAI they give athletic scholarships more so than like D3s and whatnot. I'm assuming you get a little bit. Yeah. So that's a good thing. But then he also had an esports scholarship, so he was on the esports team and baseball team. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because don't you have to like practice like 4 or 6 hours a day for esports, and then you have your sports practice? Like, when's the studying happen?
I
man?
mean, even the army has an esports team. My buddy,
The
yes,
army does.
my buddy,
Seriously?
What the
my
heck?
buddy CJ Cook.
Don't they need to be
Yeah.
actually doing real
You
battle?
would think so, right? But hey, my buddy CJ Cook, he's in the Air Force and went into the Army. Army Esports, yep, they have it.
There you
Yep,
go.
Shout out Army Esports.
Whatever works.
That's
Is that something
crazy.
you would do, esports?
Oh yeah. 100% esports.
Hey, dude. Hey, when you go to Grandview, be like, hey, you guys got an esports
I'm
team?
pretty good at Madden.
Are you?
I play with my little brother all the time, Patrick.
Yeah.
It's probably the most competitive like environment. Just me and my
I'm
brother.
sure. Yeah. Pat's just like, you guys need to beat each other.
Yeah, that kid. I'll beat him, and then like an hour later he'll come back. All right, I want a rematch. Let's go.
Oh, he's been
Let's
thinking
go."
about it that whole hour.
Yeah, or I'll come upstairs after it, and he'll be watching like this YouTube video on like Madden stuff, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, dude, really?
He's trying to outsmart
Yeah.
you, like whatever you beat him with, like moves a certain way. That's hilarious. Let's get back to baseball stuff, but that's awesome. Is there anybody in particular that you look up to and why? Anyone influential in your life that's gotten you to where you're currently at?
I mean, of course I have my dad. My
Absolutely.
dad's always pushed me. I mean, anytime I get injured, get up, you got to do this, or
Yeah.
come on, let's keep this up. My mom's also super influential with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
More or less just the health stuff because moms.
Absolutely.
But my dad he's definitely pushed me. He's kept me going. Sometimes I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm sick of sucking at this, and he's like, all right, then you got to work at it. You gotta get better.
Yeah.
Any advice he'd give me, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, but that always helps. But my dad's definitely been my big baseball influence.
Absolutely. Did he play a lot when he was younger?
Yeah, he played a lot of high school ball, but he never played at the collegiate level.
But he still got a lot of knowledge training
Yeah.
you guys and stuff when you were younger and going to
Yeah.
the park and whatnot.
He went through 2 other boys, and they didn't really pan out for baseball. They're kind of like soccer and then video games.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, so, but I think, as I wish I was a little younger still. I wish I was a junior so I could, and still had the knowledge I have
Yeah,
now.
the knowledge thing is the big
It would
thing.
have been so beneficial for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You've gone through the injuries and everything, but you've bounced right back. I think
Yeah.
Grandview's got a really good guy coming onto their roster here.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can make a really big impact on for Grandview.
Absolutely, man. Do you have like daily routines that you go through? As obviously you're in high school, but like your daily training routines or anything like that?
Yeah, Millers, they've definitely helped with our hitting development and pitching development, and so what we do a lot of plyo ball stuff, bands, but me personally, I always do some extra stretching just because,
Absolutely. That's
you
how
know,
you are. I remember when I first met you, you needed to get that extra
I
stuff
had
in.
to.
I'm
I
the
just-
same way, so I get it.
I was always afraid that if I didn't stretch out enough or I didn't get warmed up enough, it was a path to a pretty bad injury. So
What, foam rolling, lacrosse ball,
Oh.
extra as much as you can, getting into different positions. You know what I started adding in is back bends.
back bends.
Yeah. Want me to show you here?
Sure.
No, no, this is so random. But no,
Yeah, just back up in the camera behind there.
I literally started doing this because we're constantly shoulders are forward.
Yeah.
And so I literally just hold this position for 15, 20 seconds. I'll move this chair out. You want to rotate it?
Yeah.
And just hold this position for
Jeez.
15, 20, 30 seconds. Actually, a lot of pro guys are starting to do this now too. Just to obviously you hold that for a lot longer,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
because you're always sitting and you're always in this
Yeah,
position, so you need to balance it out. Yeah, maybe implement that in your routine.
I think I might try that.
Try it out. Well, no, literally, I'll send you some videos on Instagram. And I literally just started doing it because I saw a bunch of pro guys at this training facility down in Scottsdale or Tempe, Arizona, and they have all these backyard workouts and their own mound out back there.
Yeah.
And they're guys like in their mid-20s, and they literally just started. They got a TrackMan and everything there, and they just started. Yeah, no, and all these college guys, they want to go throw in the heat and stuff, so they just go down there. And I started implementing that into my routine, and some of our older guys starting to do that now too. And yeah, I don't know. I don't
might have
know.
to try that. I mean, lacrosse ball, like you guys were the ones who really got me into it.
Yep.
Every time I throw, I'm always lacrosse ball.
Lacrosse ball chest underneath the subscap, like
Oh, yeah.
all that. Like I had to do that before I threw, otherwise something was off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always feel really weird if I don't do it. Like,
Yep.
I'll be in a rush and I'll still do it.
It's because some guys with the plyo balls and J bands, same thing.
Mhm.
Like if I try and throw without doing J bands, I'm like, this doesn't feel as loose or as smooth throwing as you normally would.
Yeah, I think the routine is, kind of got your mind into that. Like, oh, I have to do this or else I'm going to get hurt or
Yep.
I'm not going to feel good or I'm going to
One from a mental thing and like your body like subconsciously just
Yeah.
got used to that and you have to do it. So, yeah. Good stuff. Taylor doesn't even know all these things.
See, the
here.
thing is I think it,
We didn't have this stuff. I started learning J bands when I was in college. I
Yeah.
mean, because I graduated high school in 2012.
yeah,
and
I mean,
they didn't really have. I mean, I did other bands.
they were adopting the heavy balls and like the weighted stuff probably when Jake and I were seniors, and you were a
Yeah, I
senior.
mean, Jake was probably doing it.
He
over
was,
at
well,
Blizzard
and that's
then,
where
but-
I learned all that stuff. So my senior year, I started taking better care of my arm because of Jake.
Oh yeah.
Because
Somebody's got to start it in the program.
well, also he and I were the only ones that could throw pole to pole, so we're the
Yeah.
only ones that could throw for long periods of time.
Right.
So he needed somebody else who could take care of their arm that would.
Yeah, you got to take care of your arm nowadays, especially with guys. How hard guys are throwing nowadays at younger ages. Like, I mean, there's always that one guy who can throw like low 90s, mid 90s, like in the state. But
Yeah.
then there's a lot more guys that are right there with him now.
Mhm.
You know, I'm sure you've been seeing that.
Yeah. A kid at my school, Will Haas.
Yeah.
I love Will. He's hilarious. He's the number one recruit for 2025 class in Minnesota, and
That's crazy.
he's touching 90. So
Boom, as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's a little scary.
Crazy.
He's a lefty too.
Oh, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Man, don't
He's
want to
got-
face him.
He's got a nasty change up, and I know from
Really?
experience. Yeah.
Really? A younger guy, a sophomore, having a really crazy good changeup like
Mhm.
that? That usually you start learning that a little later.
Yeah.
Or they have a really good slider or something right out the gate.
He's got a curveball that has like 19 inches of drop. It is
Goodness.
so weird.
What,
and-
12-6?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 12-6. But
Dang.
he's moving his arm slot down, so he's going to start throwing a slider a little bit more.
Okay.
Because he's, I think he's Sandy
Alcantara?
Yeah, Alcantara.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a Marlin. Will is a Marlins fan. Through
Really?
and through. It's so weird. So
Huh,
weird.
that's interesting. So, yeah, Sandy Alcantara has a really good, what is it, a split change or something
Yeah,
like that?
And I think that's where
That's
he
what
gets
he's
his
trying to
changeup
learn it.
from.
Yeah.
He throws
Okay.
I think there was a circle change as his primary pitch.
Yeah. It's super smart, like, for anybody who's listening, like, go to YouTube, watch the guys that you want to be like,
Yeah.
and mirror every single thing.
I
Do you have
I
any
do.
guys like that?
Oh my gosh.
Who?
Yeah.
Who do you watch?
So I got Trevor Bauer, of course.
Oh.
Trevor Bauer.
No.
Yeah.
Were you on that more before I even brought him up to you? Like that was just like,
No.
like our whole
You
training
guys-
career.
you
Yeah,
guys
Trevor
were
Bauer.
really- you guys put me on that. And
Yeah.
Then,
I'm
well,
all for Trevor Bauer. Like he needs to
yeah,
get back in the game.
100%.
He's good for baseball.
100%. I don't care who signs him at this point. Just sign that man.
I
He
wanted
is-
the Twins to.
Yeah,
like
the
they
Twins, I was like, I could see them. I could see
If
them.
they want to
need
bolster
they need
their
another
bullpen,
guy
yeah,
in
they need
there.
to bolster the
I mean, they are trying to do the whole 6-man. What do you think about guys
Yeah, the
like the
six-man.
majors moving to like a 6-man rotation nowadays? I think it's
I don't. I think
I
it's a
don't-
little bit too much.
that's way too much. I
Yeah.
mean, they're basically going to have starters going 4 innings now.
Mhm.
It's like
yeah, I mean, what's the fun in that? You got a guy who's throwing a no hitter. Take him on after 4.
Well, I
Come
wonder
on.
if with the
well,
six
that whole
man,
thing with Joe Ryan this year was a
Yeah,
joke.
well, Clayton Kershaw with his perfect game going, and they took him out in the 6th.
I wonder if they with the 6-man rotation, they're gonna aim for more for less of that because they have more starters to work with. When you have less starters to work with, you need to save those arms for later on in the season. If you have 6
Yeah.
guys that you can rely on that are gonna go 5, 6, maybe 7 innings every single time, that means that your
Yeah.
relief pitchers are getting more rest as well too.
I know I mean, it's all new baseball and old baseball. I know all the old timers are like, this is a joke, but I think there's got to be more of a happy medium in there. Like, guys should be able to go 6 to 8 innings, like if you're a starter, and then because it used to just be a starter closer, just one closer,
Yeah.
like that guy's throwing.
And then if your starter, screws up, you got a reliever in there somewhere, or you
Yeah.
add in your closer and then put in someone else.
Exactly. I don't know. We'll see how it ends up happening. How are you going to be utilized this year, or how do you think you're going to be utilized?
I'm probably going to be
pitching-wise?
well, pitching wise. I'm probably going to be a starter.
Yeah.
I'll probably be 3 or 4 in a rotation. We're doing 4-man rotation this year, I'm thinking. So
There you go.
I have no problem being.
Hopefully we
before
get
that.
out on the field right away, man. This Minnesota snow
I'm
this
so
year.
done with it. They can go. They can go.
Did it get this bad down in Iowa when you lived down there?
No, I was talking to my brother a couple weeks ago. I was like, yeah, we're in like the 40s. I'm like,
Oh, your brother down in Iowa?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with Minnesota baseball. Like, we've talked about this with Iowa baseball, high school baseball, because they start the season a month later
yeah,
than we do, and they just have it go into the summer
it's
instead
pretty
of.
much a summer ball at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they'll have to make that change at some point if they really want to. Otherwise, I mean, it really doesn't matter.
Well, if they're gonna
Too
make the
much.
change, do it now so I can play.
Yeah,
play a
no, they're
little
not
bit
gonna. They're not gonna
better
make
weather,
the change.
yeah.
It's whatever, man. Do you what are you planning on doing for the summer? What do seniors end up doing?
Well, I'm definitely gonna be working a lot more. of
Oh, are
course.
you?
Yeah,
Got to save all that money before
Mhm.
college, just
Yeah.
bankrolling it.
but I'm probably gonna play for Legion for the
Are-
Crows.
Oh, really?
Rockford Crows. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun. I'll probably be the only senior on my team. I know.
Have you thought about playing any amateur ball?
No, I have not thought about that.
Okay.
We had a senior last year who went into amateur ball because he moved to California,
Yeah.
and so he played some amateur ball.
When
I
I
have
mean
no idea.
when
where
I
he
mean
is.
amateur ball, I'm talking about like the 18 to 35-year-old league here
Oh,
in Minnesota. Yeah, and most
I
guys.
thought that was Legion.
No, Legions for like high school, like literally it'd just be all like 17, 18-year-olds.
Oh,
But amateur ball, like I used to play Coon Rapids Redbirds. There's tons of teams.
yeah, the Redbirds. One of my high school coaches was talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
well, Mossy at
Yeah,
Miller's,
Mossy.
he's the varsity coach there. He actually played for Blaine Fusion, which is another team in that league. But they literally have 18 to 35-year-olds on the team. So all the guys are former D1, D2, D3 players. And then a lot of guys like you who are going into college are kind of in that gap year of, oh, should I just play Legion or should I play with against some older guys against maybe a little bit of better competition? Some guys are throwing, mid 8s, upper 8s, some low 90s, some ex-professional guys in the league like Victoria, which is down in Minnetonka area. There used to be an ex-Phillies guy on the team. Like literally he played for the Phillies and then he's in his 40s now, early 40s, and he's playing in this league.
Yeah,
So
I can just imagine waking up one morning like, yeah, let's go to a baseball game, and then you see a ex-Phillies guy going up there, and you're like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a long day.
Yeah. But, I mean, all the cities, like small towns, like obviously you live near, like, don't you live near somewhere near Delano or not really?
Yeah, I live in Hanover,
Yeah, Hanover.
which is, I think it's about 20 minutes away from Delano.
Yeah. So St. Michael Saints, actually a few of John Carlson, one of our guys, he plays for the St. Michael Saints amateur team out there.
Okay.
And you basically have to live within a 25-mile radius of each amateur team that you're going to play for, and then you can play for them. So I don't know if it's – and you could probably double roster if you wanted and just show up to whatever games you're
Yeah,
able to. But
I'll actually look into that then because I don't want to go into the fall.
yeah,
unprepared.
exactly. Playing a little lesser competition. Even though, there's some good Legion kids, but it's
Yeah.
still not, as
Yeah, college level.
Exactly. You don't want to be facing guys mid-70s and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, crap.
Here
like,
comes 85, 86.
Yeah, exactly. Would you say you're an introvert or an extrovert, Nick?
What's that?
Your personality type. Like, are you an introvert, like where you like to keep to yourself more, or are you recharged by being by yourself, or are you an extrovert, like a people outgoing type person?
Oh, introvert, 100%.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. I can see that.
When I was in Cedar Rapids, I'd say I was an extrovert.
Why is that? So you like kind of mesh around the people that you're with?
Yeah, so Cedar Rapids, I was always hanging out with my friends, but
Yeah.
I moved up here junior year, and it's just like,
Yeah, junior year, got to
leaving.
meet a lot of new people.
yeah, I'm
and-
leaving soon, so I'm just gonna.
Oh, I see.
stay.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. But yeah, it's kind of everybody, whatever social situation they're in, they'll kind of adapt to it. That's kind of how I am too.
hmm
Like, I'll sometimes be really social, and other times I like to keep to myself.
Yeah, I guess it kind of depends on the people
Yeah,
that I'm around.
makes sense. How would you say you are as a hitter at the plate? Are you more calm, cool, and collected, or are you kind of more animated with the way you do things?
I'd throw calm, cool, and collected out the window. I'm
Oh,
up
really?
there. I'm up there. I'm like, you know what? If it's close to the zone, I'm gonna throw something at it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to say I'm like robotic with everything. Like I have like I don't want to go up there with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want to go up there like, unknowing of what I'm gonna have to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's kind of in between.
Yeah.
In between, like in higher pressure situations, I'll be just like, I'm just gonna try to put it over the second baseman.
Yeah.
But if it's just a normal regular season game, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna try to put it over the wall. I have had to work on being. I'm usually a very aggressive batter. I'll swing at things that shouldn't be swung at. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a guy who can get sorted a couple times in that bat. Yeah, I've had that happen to me.
Yeah.
But over the summer, I did work on my plate discipline.
Yeah.
So, I guess this year I'm going to work on being more cool, calm, collected, just because I'm like, all right, I'm going to be playing college ball. If I'm going up there, like, being too over aggressive against these college guys or being too scared.
Well, they're going to just see how
you
you swing at that first pitch, and then they're going to literally just dictate the
they're
rest of the
know. They're
at-bat.
gonna know exactly what they got to do to put me down.
Yep, that first swing. I mean, it's like to get that confidence up, like first at bat of the game, wherever you're at in the order, like obviously you want to just put a ball in play and then go from there, and that maybe dictates the rest of your at-bats the rest of the game. But yeah.
Like, I mean, I love the batting order thing. Like, if you're a 9-hole hitter, you're probably not going to see a curveball or anything. I think it's a little weird for that because I know a lot of 9-hole hitters who are super good. The guys. And I know I guess it's different for spring, like school ball, because if you are a 9-hole hitter, you're only going to see fastballs just because the coach is going to be like, just throw 'em fastballs.
Yeah.
But for summer ball,
no.
do not throw that guy only fastballs.
No, exactly. I don't think anybody in the order, you should just throw all
Yeah.
fastballs.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Any favorite training tools that you like to use for yourself?
Well, I like the lacrosse ball, of course.
Yep,
I don't
we
know
talked
if that's
about
really
that.
a training thing, but
Well, that's like a rehab type thing.
plyo balls are super big. I'm never experienced plyo balls until I started training with you guys, and so that's when I really got into them. Hit tracks and all that stuff is super big. I like to see.
Super helpful.
I like to see if what my launch angle is. I mean, launch angle is kind of overrated. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really like looking at launch angle as much, but I try to stay in between.
Yeah. Well, you can see, like, based on your balls that are, in the gap, wherever you're at. Like, I think it's a good tool to, like, look at and see and just, like, be like, oh, okay, that ball, if I was in this launch position, it could have gone over the fence there or something. But otherwise, like, it shouldn't change your approach at the plate, I think.
I feel like I did look really big into launch angle for a while, and then I think that's really what, I was just like, all right, I have to be like this to hit this ball like that.
Yeah.
And so you can't just do that.
No.
And then I like to look at distance. I like to look if I'm going to hit
How
a
hard
ball
you're
out.
hitting it. Yep. Absolutely.
Hit tracks has definitely helped. Like, I like to see my progress, and sometimes I'll stop for a little while progressing. Like, right now, I think I'm stuck at like 88 average exit velo. It's so annoying. Like, yesterday I practiced, and I could not break 90 to save my life, and I was hitting 89.9. I was just like, dude, come on. And it was really frustrating because Wednesday I hit 95 out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere.
Man, you must have been feeling real loose, real ready to go.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, it must have been a misread. And then 93, 94, I was like, okay, I felt good. And then Friday came, and it was a different story. But I think that's also one of the big things is staying consistent with a lot of stuff you do. But
What's your weight at?
I'm about 185.
185?
Yeah, I finally got up there.
Finally?
Yeah. It took me so long.
Gotta keep eating, man.
Yeah.
Eating, working out, putting that weight on. That'll get that average exit velocity.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. Hitting really hard or throwing really hard. You gotta have some weight, more mass, more gas. And then you gotta weight lift. You gotta have a lot of heavy weight going.
Exactly. Taking your performance serious. What are you currently working on to improve your skills, if anything?
Right now I'm working on my mechanics because, of course, I can always improve on those. especially because
Throwing, hitting.
both.
Yeah.
Both. Like right now, I'm like back to the the guys you want to replicate. I'm really big into Drew Gilbert
Oh, really?
from Tennessee, he's Astros guy.
Oh, he's a Minnesota guy here too. He's from Minnesota. Did
Oh
you
yeah,
know that?
isn't Stillwater?
Yep.
Stillwater, yeah.
Yeah.
I know someone who goes to Stillwater. He like brags about it all the time. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
Drew
whatever.
Gilbert.
Yeah, and then I really like I really like his energy. He's super energetic guy, but a lot of power.
Yeah.
Like, for a guy who's like what 5'10", something like
he's
that.
He's a brick
could-
house, that's
yeah.
for sure.
So, for a while I was just like I can't do the leg kick anymore. My rhythm and my timing is just horrible with the leg kick. So I started with a toe tap ish, and then I moved to just pretty much a Vladdy Guerrero. I kind of have that going now, and it's really helped with my rhythm and timing.
That's awesome. I remember when you first came to us, that was the main thing. Crick was like, we need to simplify this a little bit because there was a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
And so you've worked over
I've
that over time.
definitely improved on my rhythm and timing.
Good. That's good to hear.
And then for pitching, I just something about the arm slot still. I just because from the outfield you can't throw sidearm from
No.
the outfield. That's gonna screw you up. So trying to find a middle
Happy
ground
medium.
for that, yeah, it's definitely been. I'm trying.
He's
trying.
figured
Like,
out.
right now. I'm like they've moved me up to like right about here.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
when you make changes too quick, which we were like, when you first came to us, it was like, oh, what do we do from this standpoint? Like, you're used to being over here. We want to get you somewhat over here. But if you make changes too quick, it impacts, like, your body's not used to it and all that stuff.
Yeah. Honestly,
How's your arm been since then?
it's been super good. I have not
That's
had
good.
any problems with it. I think it's mostly because I've been like obsessed with like recovery and
Yeah.
getting my arm ready for that throwing. Like
Yeah.
before, after I'd be done throwing, I wouldn't do anything. I'd just be like, whatever, I'll just ice it later. And no,
Yeah.
I'm bands. I'll do plyo stuff. I don't even know if like I won't run. I don't think the running thing is.
Sprints are good.
Yeah, I know. I do sprints after it, but long distance running I
No.
will not do after pitching or
No.
throwing.
No,
I just
that's
don't get it.
that's actually been somewhat proven in a lot of different studies that it doesn't help. And I used to be the guy after games. I'd pitch 7 innings and I'd run 7 pulls.
Do some pulls.
It'd take me like a half hour, 40 minutes, and literally, I'm like, I found out later that it doesn't actually.
Help, yeah. And
Yeah.
my high school head coach is gonna make all the pitchers run pulls.
Oh,
You have to run 2
no.
pulls every inning you
Oh
pitch.
no, I'll have to chat with him.
Yeah,
No.
I'm just like, hey man, like Haas.
Sprints are good. Like do
yeah.
10 sprints. Like so, it's all about getting your heart rate up and then bringing it down. So a sprint from first to second base and then walking it back, taking like a 30-second breather, and then doing it again. Get that heart rate up, bring it back down. That's the healing process. So
that's usually like whenever I'm doing recovery, it's always gonna be I'm moving while I'm doing something or.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get my heart rate up, and then after I throw, I go hit, so it helps with that too.
Yep.
So I become so obsessed with recovery. I just don't want to get hurt. I'm done getting hurt. I'm done, with the injuries. I'm just done.
That's what it takes, man. Is obsessing about like your process, and it sounds like you have a good one going. To further that, I'm going to invite you. We're doing a peak performance workshop in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Literally talking about all the stuff that we're talking about, rehab, recovery stuff. I think it'd be good for you to come out. We're doing it in the Grand Hall right here.
Oh, 100%.
You should definitely come. It's on a Sunday afternoon or something. So last but not least, what is your own definition of what a complete athlete is?
Complete athlete, I think. Well, for a baseball standpoint, you can move a lot of weight really fast. You can run fast, and then you can hit the ball and do everything in game. I think that's a complete baseball athlete. And you've got the D1 guys, they can lift heavy, and then they can go in the game and just be so smooth. Like they're not a big meathead on the field.
What does it mean from a person standpoint of view?
A person I think it's not giving up. You have the heart, something that holds you back. You're just like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to proceed with this. I'm not going to say, you know what, it was worth it a couple years back, but now it's not. I think a complete athlete is you can you can battle mentally and then you can battle physically. I think that's a complete athlete.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Nick. Where can listeners find you online?
Instagram, it's nbenny.
And Benny. What?
Benny.
Benny, like Benny or Benny?
Benny.
Benny, like
It's
B.
B-I-N-N-E. Benny.
That's not Benny. That's Benny.
Well, everyone calls me something
These
different.
Iowa kids.
Is it the Iowa
probably-
thing? Like an I is an
Well,
E
he was.
on there?
the
The
or
best
what?
part is he was calling Winona.
What?
It's okay.
I thought it was Winona.
No,
It's wins.
Winona.
Like you
Winona,
win.
okay.
You win.
No wonder Logan looks at me like,
Yeah, they're like, what
Why
do
are
you
you
say?
calling
We,
it like
we
that?
feel bad because we don't want to correct you. It's okay.
That's hilarious. I'll have you text that to me so I can include that in the show notes. And
all right.
yeah, we're excited for your high school season, excited for everything that Grandview has to hold for you, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. And,
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, super proud of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Love it. Good episode. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
Once you get talking, you literally, we talked for basically almost
52 minutes.
52 minutes.
and it seems like it goes